All right, so today we're going deep, really deep into a case you might not know too well.
Okay.
But trust me, this one's going to stick with you.
Oh, I'm intrigued already.
We're talking Ervin Cherry. Ever heard that name?
Not ringing a bell.
Exactly. See, not a Bundy, not a Dahmer, but the story is just as messed up, just as
Small ears.
complicated, really makes you think. And that's what we do here, right? We dig in. We got court records, news articles, the whole 9 yards. We're piecing together the life, the crimes, trying to figure out how does a seemingly average dude become a convicted killer?
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it? The how and the why.
Exactly. So let's rewind. Way back, Ervin Cherry, born 1966.
Okay.
Now, the early years, those are just kind of fuzzy. Not a lot in the sources about his childhood or anything like that.
Huh, interesting.
But fast forward to 1986, Cherry's 20 years old, and boom, aggravated battery with a deadly weapon.
Whoa! Right out the gate.
No kidding. 10 years he got. For a first offense,
Yeah.
that's heavy, right?
Oh, absolutely. That tells you right there this wasn't some bar fight gone wrong. Deadly weapon, intent to cause serious harm. Justice system doesn't mess around with that.
Makes you think, what was going on in his head even back then?
Right.
So, early 90s, he's out. And this is where it gets weird. Weirder. The sources go quiet. Like, what was he doing those years? Rebuilding his life, regretting his past. Who knows?
It's just like a black hole in the story, right?
Yeah.
We know the before, we know the after, but those years in between.
Crucial years, potentially.
Yeah.
Did he slip through the cracks?
Or
Or is this, like you said, just him biding his time?
chilling thought, isn't it?
Big time. And then, just a few years later, things take a very, very dark turn. 1993, November, St. Johns County, Florida. Wanda Robinson, found murdered, strangled.
Strangulation, that's up close and personal. Often a sign of rage, a connection, maybe even a twisted sense of control.
Awful. Makes you wonder, did Cherry know her? Was this targeted?
Tough to say for sure. Gotta be careful about speculation. Gotta stick to the facts.
Right, right. But then, just 3 months later, February 94, same county, Catherine Walker. Same story, strangled.
Whoa, 2 murders, same MO, same area. Now we're talking escalation, a pattern emerging. This isn't random anymore.
And it doesn't stop there. 4 days later, Christina Cooper, another strangulation, this time Putnam County, right next door to St. John's.
Okay, 3 victims now. Short time frame, concentrated geographically. This is a serial offender, no doubt.
And it took a while to catch him, right? Not until September 94. And get this, it wasn't even for murder. Auto theft in Savannah, Georgia.
Classic case of a seemingly small crime unraveling a bigger picture. You know those breadcrumbs they talk about in detective shows? Sometimes it's as simple as a stolen car.
Wild. So they connect him to the murders of Wanda Robinson and Christina Cooper. 2010, convicted. Life sentences.
Makes sense.
But here's the thing. What about Catherine Walker? Why wasn't he charged with her murder at the same time?
Ugh. See, this is where the legal system gets tricky. Sometimes you gotta wait for all the pieces to fall into place. You need that airtight case, especially with a serial offender. The indictment for Catherine's murder, that didn't come until 2010 while he was already serving life.
Wow. And then he confesses to her murder too. Another life sentence on top of the ones he's already got.
Confession after all those years, why? Remorse, clearing his conscience, some kind of legal strategy. It's a puzzle.
Almost creepier not knowing, right? Like, what was the point?
It's the questions that linger that get under your skin, you know?
Yeah.
That's part of what makes this whole thing so fascinating, so disturbing.
No doubt. So we got escalation, a string of victims, justice delayed, and that confession. But looking at Cherry's story, it makes you think bigger, you know? Like, how do we prevent this kind of thing?
Absolutely. How do we spot the signs earlier? Maybe intervene before it even gets to murder.
Is it better rehab programs? Stricter sentences?
Yeah.
Maybe we need to understand what makes someone like Cherry tick in the first place.
Right, like, what were those missing years about? Could something have been done then?
This isn't just about catching bad guys. It's about figuring out why they become bad guys in the first place.
Couldn't agree more. It's about understanding human nature, the dark side of it, and figuring out what role society plays, for better or for worse.
Ervin Cherry, he might not be a household name, but his case, it's a reminder that the world's a complicated place. And sometimes the scariest monsters are the ones that look just like everyone else.
And that's a thought to sit with, for sure.
What if, right? What if we could rewind? What if we could change the ending? But we can't. All we can do is learn from it, try to do better, and hope that maybe someday we won't have to tell stories like this anymore.
That's the goal, isn't it?
It has to be.